Alright, I've tried like 7 different times now to make this video. I am not made to make these kind of videos. At least I lack insane amount of practice because this is my first try at one. So I'm going to try and keep it short really quickly for this specific flipping topic that I wanted to talk about. Company of Heroes 2, my favorite game of all time. I love it. I genuinely did not expect Company of Heroes 3 to come out, and I'm really excited for it. Um, I love change in video games. I like to buy a new game. Oh, sorry. Yeah, expecting change, something different to come along with it. I'm not the biggest fan of like, ooh, $60 for the same thing but slightly better graphics. That's crazy. I'm not that kind of guy. So when Company of Heroes 3 was announced, I was very excited and I did have the expectation of I want change, I want something different. And I am by no means discouraging what they are currently doing, but I want to go ahead and because I kind of see a red flag that might happen in the future with the level of versatility in this game's commander point thingy system. I'm not too sure what to call it. I know there's battle groups and field marshals now, but you also spend command points on certain units that you want to get on like a tech tree looking thing mid match. I wanted to go ahead and mention the issue that I can see with this and why it would really divide player base very very greatly in regards to matchmaking skills because if they do the same thing with matchmaking that they did in Company of Heroes 2 and it's ranked no matter what you do, which personally I like, but I know it might not be the best thing for everybody, so which is why I'm also bringing it up, because I can see this issue, and it's the fact that like people who don't like to talk to their teammates in Company of Heroes 2, it's not the biggest handicap of all time. You can play an entire match and work with your teammate and not communicate with them and actually get like a really good, like it'll look like an army working together, you know? In this game I feel like communication is essential because of the fact that you can pick and choose what abilities you want if you because there is a great potential for variety in play styles in within a single match. You can have people like it's going to be hard to see a match where like everybody picks the same things over and over. And I'm talking about like you play one match, everybody picks a certain skill tree, whatever. You play the next match, even if there's a meta involved, there's going to be a high chance that not everybody picks the exact same command points on the exact same thing. So no matter to some extent every match is going to be different. I love that idea. The issue that I have right here that I can see is how it's going to divide this player base. What I'm going to talk about now, the more casual people, to some extent me, like I have a friend that I play with a lot, but it's just one person. So this is going to be something that mainly affects like 4v4s and 3v3s, stuff like that. So when somebody jumps on to play, shall we say, not necessarily casually, but without friends, and they just feel like playing the game, they are going to be forced to still communicate with their team if they want to work as effectively as they did without having somebody in a voice chat with them. Reason being, um, if you see that you need smoke on your front, but you're also fighting with another person, if you don't tell them, hey, I'm getting smoke, you go ahead and pick something else that we don't have the exact same build that can be countered the exact same way, or to some extent, just like it's generally not a good idea to have everybody using the exact same abilities because then that just makes it a little bit A, stale, and B, can be easy to counter unless the meta is really hard to counter. Um, because then that's going to this level of versatility is just going to encourage people who don't communicate with people too often to communicate even less often because it gives them the chance to actually look at what's going on their front or the front that they and their teammates are on and pick what they think will benefit. If everybody does that, everybody's going to end up picking usually the same kind of abilities, and that's going to be harmful for their game. That forces people to communicate. That is not inherently a bad idea because people have to communicate in order to actually like get somewhere because believe it or not you need to do that in just not just real life but in video games as well, but that's also going to cause a bit of a divide in either skill gap or maybe even discourage people who play this game very casually from even playing multiplayer at all, and it might end up being like high ranks in Company of Heroes 3 just being this sweat fest of people who are in calls all the time of 4v4s or and just like actually like building their tech trees from the ground up, working with each other so that everybody helps each other, covers each other's flanks, and everything like that. That isn't necessarily bad. Again, I think that's actually really cool, but then this is going to go ahead and create some sort of issue that divides the pro scene, if there really is a pro scene in this game, I haven't paid much attention to it, to the more casual scene. Um, I'm not sure if I'm really portraying my point of view too effectively here, but essentially, this is going to reward communication more than anything. Again, that's not inherently bad, but this is going to encourage people who, similar to myself, I mean, I've got a couple friends who play this game, but it's mainly just one. So he and I jump into 4v4s. So there's two people that we usually don't end up communicating with. And it's just he and I that are communicating together. And that's usually enough for both of us when we're working together, but quite often we'll be separated when we spawn and usually forced to work with randoms. And then the chat becomes either a mess when we do try to communicate or nobody communicates at all. But the reason why that's not a problem in Company of Heroes 2 is because there is personality behind the commander that you pick. There is literally a face behind the commander you pick. The most amount of communication that you can really have in Company of Heroes 2, and it's really all you need, is once you see what commander your allied picks. You can see their units as well. That obviously helps. You know, if you see them using a bunch of MGs, you might want to grab a couple mortars to help cover those MGs from other mortars. But my main point here being, like, the personality behind a Commander and Company of Heroes 2 said a lot about what your player was going to do in the game. And you could help them out, or at least know what they're going to do and try to work with that just by looking at what commander they pick. In this game, that's not really a thing from what I can tell. Like, sure, for the Americans, there's like Airborne and the Armored, I think it was called, something like that. And you can generally tell what they're doing there, but you can't really tell unless you're talking to them. Hey, what specific ability did you pick for this type of scenario? Again, you might want to have somebody who has a smoke drop, and then have another person that has something like a howitzer carriage or something like that. I don't know. Just more diversity, obviously. You don't want everybody running smoke drops because smoke don't hurt. Smoke don't kill, it just blocks line of sight. If everybody has smoke because nobody was talking to each other, and now the entire battlefield looks like, Chicago, and everybody's vaping with bullets flying all through the air. That's crazy. I think you might have caused a little bit of a mess. And I don't think that's the devs' problem there. I think that's the players' problem. But I don't think that's a problem that the players can necessarily. Well, yes, they can solve it themselves, but it's not a problem that the devs can solve. So I'm just worried that it's going to potentially eliminate the appeal to more casual players of playing this game if you keep this level of versatility involved. It's going to go ahead and have it's going to be so much more effective to communicate with one another. Like I said, with the Company of Heroes 2 thing, you can play by yourself. You look at what your friendly commanders are picking and see who's using what commander. You can generally tell what their general ideas are and how they're going to handle engagements. And that is all you need to know. In Company of Heroes 3, I need to literally ask, what are you doing? What are you picking? So that I know what they're doing. Because they can do just about anything by themselves. That is fantastic for 1v1 games, and maybe even 2v2, if you're communicating with each other. But in regards to 4v4s, I feel like this is going to end up with matches being a complete mess in regards to ability selection and unit roster. Sometimes it'll work very smoothly out of chance and things will go very well. Sometimes it'll be a complete mess. Again, if you have smoke all over the battlefield and it just looks like everybody's vaping all over the place, then you have a little bit of a problem. Again, though, I'm not pointing my finger and saying it's the player's fault. I'm not saying it's the dev's fault. I think this is going to be a consequence that is implemented through this level of versatility. Again, yeah, I've talked a lot of negative about it, but one thing that I actually really like about it is that it makes 1v1s a lot more appealing to me. Because the main thing, I played 1v1s not too much, but I played it enough in Company of Heroes 2 to feel like my biggest fear in Company of Heroes 2 1v1s would be like picking my commander too early and showing off, like giving away my identity too soon. Because I'm always scared that the other player hasn't picked their commander yet and they go, oh, he's doing this guy. I know what he's going to do a couple minutes into the future, maybe 10 minutes down the line. I'm going to go ahead and pick a commander that completely counters it. So for 1v1s, that is a great idea. I think it's absolutely amazing. For 3v3s and 4v4s, though, I see it being a really big issue because of the lack of communication that most people have. But that's not exactly the dev's fault. You can obviously talk to people during the match, but a lot of people, including myself, play video games not to have social interactions with other people unless they're in a Discord call with me. So I really just see 4v4s, and to some extent, this is a thing already in Company of Heroes 2, but it's not the most thing ever. Like the most impactful thing ever is like higher ranks in Company of Heroes 2. Usually, you can assume teams are always talking to each other. They're all in a Discord call playing together, but that's not always the case. I played many Company of Heroes 2 matches in 4v4s where you can tell nobody's in a call together, but still, the match works out pretty damn good. Like, people work together and they know what they're doing. Now, obviously, you'll have your matches where that doesn't completely happen, but, that's just luck of the draw there, I suppose. Um, but yeah, so I hope this message got across well. Again, I'm sorry if this video is a bit of a mess. I've tried like 7 times with and without a script to make it work, and dear Lord, have I had the biggest trouble conveying my thoughts. And I still think like I didn't even do it perfectly here. Again, this is a little bit of a warning, I suppose I'm giving off here that I see this causing, or like a little bit of a rift in regards to skill. Oh god, I'm already losing my train of thought already. I'm gonna go ahead and end this video right here. I might make videos later on just to even practice about this, talking about like probably the Americans' level of versatility in this game is like amplified by like 10 because of their veterancy system. So if you are interested in hearing about that and making me suffer more, let me know if this even gets us any views. Oh, this hurts. Oh gosh. Script or no script. I lose my train of thought way too flipping easily. Anyways, thank you for watching this video though. Let me know if you actually think I did a decent job. I think I already know the answer to that. But regardless, I'm really excited for this game, regardless of how it turns out in regards to this, how do you call it, command point system. It's not anything that's going to break the game. Again, I can't emphasize this enough. This isn't something that I'm worried is going to destroy the game. This is just something that I feel like is going to reward players way too much for communicating with one another, to a point where like if you want to do good in the game, you're forced to literally just like get in a Discord call with somebody else, and not everybody can do that. Not out of the sense of not everybody has a mic, but out of the sense of like some people really don't like to talk. I am kind of one of them. Regardless though, if that's the way things turn out, I am by no means going to be sad about it. I think this game is great. The only general critique I have about it is that the art style is not my thing. Is it something that would keep me from buying the game? No. Is it something that is going to probably annoy me later in the future? Probably. Regardless, thank you for watching again. I hope this wasn't too hard to watch. It was hard to make, I can tell you that. Anyways, have a good one, boys, and good luck out there in your future matches.